So this car is the car that you bought off of me. This is my old car and the engine blew. So you tore out the engine. Now it's engineless.
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
And you're going to swap it. So
yes, eventually the plan is to swap it, put something bigger in it, kind of have some fun with it. It's a little bit kind of a show build in the sense that it doesn't.
it's so sad to see
function.
that. So sad.
We're just going to close that.
But it's cool because this isn't what I originally did to the car. It has the wrap that I did, but I had the Supreme sticker on the side. I had different parts on it. So it's kind of nice that you're taking it for yourself and, you know, making it your own.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I wanted to keep it in the spirit of the same build, so I didn't want to change up the wheels, didn't want to change the wide body. It's already bagged over that. So I kind of wanted to continue just kind of build off where you were.
Yeah.
But kind of give it my own taste. I didn't want to, you know, leave the Supreme on. As cool as it was and the con roof, but you know, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Everybody loved it, dude. Everybody would hit me up and ask, where did you get that? Where did you get that? How do I get it? And now you see people doing LV everywhere.
Yep, absolutely.
Love it.
So yeah, I get messages about it all the time. Oh, it's a Supreme Jet, all that kind of stuff. So kind of throwing my own spin on it. I'm doing a lot of carbon parts on it. It's kind of a budget build, just for the time being. I've got another project which takes most of my money.
Quote unquote budget build.
Yeah. So you know, some parts I get, you know, kind of for cheap here and there. So a lot of the parts I've found have been discounted. I think everything I've bought besides a couple small parts and the diffuser have been like used parts. So, well, we'll start at the front. So we got save on hood, which is the same style you used to have on the car. Right?
Yeah, I love this style. It looks so good. It's so aggressive too for how aggressive the car looks. I don't think any other hood would flow with it as well.
Absolutely, yeah. I love the shape of the vents and the lines on the car.
Yeah.
Let's see. Most recent, which isn't even bolted yet, is the G4 Works carbon lip on it.
And that's the lip I originally had on the car,
Indeed
but I
is.
broke it off like an idiot.
This one's got a little bit of damage too. Again, I got it used, and the hood's got a little bit of sun fade too and all that.
One thing I really do love is that, and I wanted to do this when I originally had the car, was put the fog lights in.
Yes.
I love the fog lights in it. Mine originally didn't have them, and you put those in.
Yeah, I totally forgot that I did that actually.
Yeah.
Let's see, and then I also did the KDM headlights. So basically the same as the OEMs, but they get a little bit of a clear point here.
Which looks good, because it, like, I didn't have everything blacked out, and it really flows with the front bumper, the, you know,
Yeah, thank you.
chrome grille and everything.
So then next we got remake white body kit, left that all the same. You know, I've got the replacement hardware for it too because it's missing something. But
Yeah, my bad.
I just got to install it. I think it's in the back seats or something. But let's see, and then it's got heritage wheels. I don't remember the specs though, but
I believe they're in
19s. Yeah.
19s?
Yeah.
I thought they were 18s.
No, maybe 19.
19s? I can't even remember. 19 by 10, no, 19 by 11 in the front plus 50, or plus 34,
Okay.
I think. And then the rears are 19 by 14,
Yeah.
or plus 58.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
So
it's wide.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is not something I could have managed to pull off on my own. So it was kind of cool to, you know, take off from where you left off and kind of build off that. I changed the center caps from the red ones you had to the silver.
Which I do like quite a bit.
Yeah, just, you know, I typically what I do on cars is I kind of just try to remove some of the multicolor things. I kind of go to black and white, you know. And
Yeah,
I can add-
monochrome. And
Yeah, exactly. My other car is gray, so that's kind of where I started though. Let's see, so drilled and slotted rotors installed.
Which is awesome. I wanted to do these as well. And then the big brake kit, I didn't originally have it on there.
Yeah, I believe you actually gave me the parts with the car too.
I did,
To
yep.
install it, so. And then you had a set of Brembos with the car that were going to go on it. I ended up repainting those a different color. Ended up giving those to your friend. Kind of long story, but so these ones here, normally people powder coat their brakes, but I went to a great shop in Mesa that does Cerakoting work, and they do fantastic work. So
Yeah, they look so good. Like when you first got them back and sent pictures, I was like, dude,
thank you.
they
Yeah.
look so clean.
And it's ceramic based, and you know it's rated for high temperatures and all that. It's thinner than powder coat, if I understand that right. It's just a great thing. And then instead of doing stickers, I had it engraved, and so they used the laser and engraved them.
Which is super cool. Because usually people just put a sticker on it and then clear over it, but it keeps it matte and the design on it,
Yeah, definitely.
which is great.
Let's see, little small things. It had the carbon mirror caps on it already. Then I found another good deal part on the carbon roof, and that honestly is kind of the part that kind of decided where this build was going for me in a lot of ways, at least exterior. So it's RK Sport makes that. I got it for local, pretty cheap, not online, so it's just an add-on to the roof. Then I went with the G4 carbon shark fin. I figured it just matches pretty well with the roof.
I love it so much. You did basically everything I wanted to do on it.
Oh.
Like all the carbon is exactly what I wanted. I love the two-tone look.
Yeah, and I figured, show build and, the carbon roof, not functional carbon is not reducing weight,
Right.
but I just figured it kind of has that look to it, and if we're going for looks, then, why not go for looks?
Yeah, exactly. And the other car we're going to look at is you have two separate functions for each car. One's a show car, one's a race car.
Yes. Yeah, I used to want to do everything in one car, but I realized it's kind of hard to do that. To experience a bit of everything. So I was like, why not have a dedicated car for show stuff? And then I don't care how the other one looks. Clearly, as you'll see.
Yeah, and to point out, this is still a project. None of this is running. It's like long-term
Yes, indeed. Yeah.
project. So it's not like this is going to be up and ready in a few days. So.
And so I did carbon G4 roof spoiler. The tape came off just sitting in the heat, so I gotta reapply that and get it stuck back on. Then VIS, another budget find. I thought you can see it's got a bunch of sun fades, kind of yellowing a bit. But I figured once the car's all done, I get all parts done carbon, then I'll go back and have it re-cleared.
Yeah, and I had a different trunk. I had the more rounded Save on Carbon one. Yeah. But looking at the squared out version of the duckbill looks really good on this car.
Thank you, yeah. Honestly, I was like, whatever carbon trunk pops up, I'll go with that. And I got lucky and found this one for cheap local, so that's cool. This car's got my old BK2 tails on it. They are pretty much just stocks. They, Johnny Lucas is actually the guy who built them. If you're familiar with his build, it's a crazy BK1 build. So he did nightshade inside and out, did some chrome tint on it. It's got a little bit of a crack in it now. It's kind of been spreading.
That's sad.
Some of the clears come off. So these came off my other build straight onto this car as I redid the taillights on that. So not mounted yet, but I've got a carbon diffuser here. I believe Carbon Creations is the one that does it. So I was kind of unsure about the brand, but it seems good. It looks a lot like the remake diffuser, but in carbon. And so then.
So what do you eventually have plans for this? What is the general idea for it? What kind of motor are you wanting to do? And
so, I've kind of gone around back and forth, and it might be one of those kind of budget things in the end too, but I think it'd be really funny to do a Hellcat motor in it, just for the ridiculousness of it. Get a lot of power out of the, right off the bat, and
it'd be fast like it looks, so that'd be cool.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, tilty wheels, but
All right, yeah.
And I want to show the wheels. I want to show how wide these are. It's crazy, and I love the stretch on it.
Yeah. Well, I figured there's a couple other things in here.
And then
Carbon door. I'm struggling to remember who did this one. I'll have to figure that out. But carbon doors I did. It's got everything still functional. It's got the if there was a battery in the car, it's got the door locks, the windows, door handle, everything like that. So, and then the quilted floors I believe you did.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a nice look, and I hear they're kind of hard to find sometimes. So
Really?
Yeah, those are pretty nice.
Yeah, I only did it because, I thought they looked pretty decent because they're not super in your face, but the carpet was starting to tear up from my heel.
Oh, sure, absolutely. I do remember that actually.
Yeah.
I took a look on the
Got a little sweatshirt guy?
yeah, I got that.
That's
for Christmas.
cool.
It's a great little gift. And then the last thing so far, I think, on the car is these carbon A-pillars. So the way the car is going, I want to keep doing more carbon on the car for now. And eventually, just because, kind of show car, I want to do as much as I can. So the wide body, front and rear bumpers, stuff like that. So small. And then would like to do the rear quarters and the fenders and all that. So front to back, it'd be nice to do the full thing in carbon. And it's kind of ambitious. And then I'd like to do more in the center, like, dashboard or...
The interior is pretty stock. I left it clean and stock, so you have a good base to go off of, which is
very nice and clean.
exciting.
Yeah, and it's like 60,000 miles on the chassis, I think. 60.
Yeah, it's low. And it only blew up because I bought an ECU, a canned ECU, like an idiot. If I would have just left it stock, it would have been fine.
Yeah. So yeah, it spun a third cylinder rod bearing. So I pulled the motor out and found that, and I was like, yeah, do I really want to throw it back in? I was already there, and I already bought the rod bearings too, actually. But I was like, I'm doing it, might as well just kind of have fun.
Yeah.
Put something else.
And with the price of rebuilding it, which you've already done on the other car, it's gonna basically be a swap anyways. So.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's kind of my regret with the other car, is rebuilding it rather than just waiting and doing swap or something. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the car. So, motor swap in the future and more carbon parts.
It's pretty sweet. I love it. Keeping the dream alive for me.
Yeah.
But we'll look at your other one real quick and we'll go over that as well.
So this is my 2011 Hyundai Genesis Coupe. We just looked at my 2013, which is BK2. This is the predecessor to that. It shares a lot of the same components, mainly differences in the front end, interior, and like taillights, a couple other kind of small things. But this one came with the 3.8. The other one came with the 2.0 turbo. And this one was the first car I ever got. So this is kind of my baby. It's gone down an interesting path, if I can put it that way. Trying to figure out what I want to do with it. And so it's very drift inspired. It's very VIP build, JDM kind of inspired.
Which you can tell by the wheels and the angle.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so I'll get to the whole suspension setup too in a sec. I got this car in 2016, and the red car I got in 2022. So it's a lot older. I've had this one a lot longer. So had it 8 years now, is that something like that? Crazy. Time flies.
Right.
So, all right. Front to back, the front bumper, I think, is probably one of my favorite parts on the car. This is from a Korean company called Road Runs. They only ever imported one to the United States, and I did some tracking for a few years and found that exact bumper. Traded hands a few times and bought it within hours when it went up for sale. So
it's a pretty rare bumper then.
Yes, exactly.
I do like the look of it. I know we can't get the whole view of the car right now because it's kind of in a tight spot. Mm-hmm. But everything you have on it, it flows so well. I know some people might not like it, but I think it's probably one of the better aftermarket bumpers.
Yeah, thank you. So this was definitely kind of the piece of the car that kind of defined where it was going for me, because it's very sporty, kind of angular compared to the stock bumpers, a little bit curvier. Kind of got, those extra vents in the bottom. Gives it more of a sporty, but kind of more VIP. I'm not sure. But, it's got the Euro plate already styled in the front bumper. So, very KDM, I guess, if you want to call it that.
Definitely. If you look at the KDM drifters and everything, you can definitely see this style is influenced somewhat by what they build, which is cool because nobody does that.
Yeah, definitely. So, I definitely love a lot of the Korean drift builds out there, and that's definitely been a huge inspiration for this car.
And they're super popular, which is crazy. You'd never think.
Yeah.
Because we live in the U.S., right? Like, we don't really think about Korea for car culture.
Yeah, well, that's like their domestic car, right? So,
yeah, exactly.
That's like their Corvette or Mustang or whatever.
Right. So, and it's probably cheap, affordable, and rear wheel drive. You can swap it with anything.
Yep. And that's why I'm kind of addicted to the car too. It's very cheap, even in the US here.
Yeah.
Front engine, rear wheel drive. It comes with a manual, or it comes with Brembos. You've got tons of options. And I just love the overall shape and look of the car. So that was the front bumper.
What about the taillights? I mean, not the headlights.
Yeah, the headlights. So these are some OEM BK1 headlights. You can tell they're pretty bad shape right now.
Yeah, I'm sure you could fix those, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the reason I went with these, I had some stock OEMs and I know they look terrible, is that these center lights right here are super hard to find. So and that's kind of where the car is going. It's kind of rare, old, when the BK1 first kind of came out era kind of parts. So 8 years ago, not really. It's that not but
Feels like forever.
Believe it or not, these are pretty hard to find. So they're just little switchback LEDs in the corner here. But I've been looking for those for a while, and I found them. I'll rebuild the headlights at some point. It'll be totally fresh and clean. Whether I start with a new set of OEMs or just continue off this.
Yeah,
but.
and that's another thing to kind of reiterate about this is a lot of these parts that you're going to see are, I guess, rare parts, right? Like you like hunting for parts that people don't have or one-offs or,
I mean, it's fun, right? There's, the Hyundai Gen Coupe is not a super popular platform, so there's not a whole lot of people chasing for really crazy parts. So it's fun when you get the opportunity to, to find something, not a whole lot of people have been looking for it. So I love that about the car. Super underestimated, I guess, in that respect. So
definitely. And then what hood is that? It looks similar to the BK2, but it's different.
Oh, I'm struggling to remember what. Because there was a couple brands that do this, and this is not the original because I couldn't find it and they couldn't ship it in the US.
It looks cool though. I like it. I like the aggressive bump in the middle.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's got a nice little bump. I like. At first, when I saw this bumper, I wasn't really convinced. I wanted to do my own custom bumper. I wanted to do my own custom hood. But it eventually kind of grew on me, and I liked the lines of it next to the bumper and a couple other parts. So I ended up going with this one. I would pop the hood. There's not much to see. It's just a stock 3.8.
Same thing as the BK2, basically.
Yeah, so it's a stock 3.8 for now because I didn't want to invest too much into it. Eventually, it'll be a swap.
And it does run. Which is nice.
Yes.
You had to rebuild it, unfortunately.
Yes, I did. So,
but
I think the rings were bad on this one, so I abused this car. So, just drove it hard, and I loved every minute of it. And so now it's got a rebuilt engine, it just needs a battery to get it going. So.
What's in the front grille?
Oh, the mesh or the R? The coolers. Oh, yeah.
Oh, those are coolers?
Yeah, so...
What are those? Mishimoto?
Yes, so I've got an oil cooler on one side, and then I'm using another oil cooler as a power steering cooler on the other side. So it's also got a transmission cooler
That's
from
nice.
Mishimoto, and then a full radiator, too.
So full-on race car.
It's got all the cooling. I upgraded the cooling, upgraded the brakes, upgraded the suspension.
Yeah.
So... and actually upgraded some of the drivetrain too. We'll get to at the back, but but everything pretty much but power. So I'm hoping when I add power, it'll be able to take it.
What about the wheels? You just got these.
Yes.
And these are supposed to be your spares?
Yeah. So being that this is kind of a drift inspired build here, these are kind of my drift spares for it. I've got my eyes set on another set of wheels, but these are SSR Executors CV01.
They're pretty.
Yeah, thank you.
I like them.
Yeah, so I was super stoked about them. They look great. I've been tired of not having wheels for this car for so long. I was in stock, so I was like, well, I found them. They were local. They're a good price too. So, and
then you got a custom big brake kit again. I mean, it's the OEM, but it's upgraded, right?
Yes. So
powder coated it again.
Yep, same thing as the other car. I did the Cerakote and engrave, but this one I went with like a flat black instead of the gloss.
I said powder coat, didn't I?
You did, but it's all good. It's very similar. It's just I think Cerakote is just a company, like a brand. It's kind of like saying Kleenex or whatever.
Right. Or NOS.
Or NOS, indeed. Same thing. But yeah, so that one for the brake setup on this car, it's got DBA, which is an Australian brake company. It's 2-piece rotors in the front, and then it's got just 1 piece in the rear. I think it's the 5000 in the front and the 4000 series in the rear. See, it's got EBT yellow stuff pads on it too, so I kind of went for kind of race car-y.
Yeah,
and then it's
squeaky
got,
boys.
The braided brake lines as well.
Love those.
Let's see.
And then the fenders. What are these?
Yeah, so these are cartooners. They have a vented fender. These are actually their first set, so this is like a prototype as well.
Okay. It fits pretty well.
Yeah, it's
not bad.
Some work, but it's not too bad. Yeah, fiberglass.
Everything aftermarket needs a little work. Hoods, you need to adjust. Trunks, everything.
Absolutely. So, let's see. So.
And what about those mirrors? Those are different.
So, Riss Millen Racing did a SEMA build called the RM460. It's an orange, crazy build. They threw a 4.6 liter V8 out of a Gen fan in the back of it. but it was a big, well-known SEMA car, and these mirrors came off of it. So these mirrors are taken off of a Ducati sports bike.
That's cool.
And then they were fitted to fit the Gen Coupe, and then redone in carbon. So it's got the wheels there.
That's pretty sick. Those look huge for a bike.
Yeah,
not gonna lie.
Yeah, they look kind of small for a car.
Right.
They're interesting. You know, it's kind of like the it was APR that does the carbon mirrors as well. So kind of similar, but you know, different spin on it.
Which is cool. You have like a legendary Genesis Coupe's cars parts
thank you.
on your car, which is sick.
I appreciate that. Yeah. So, there's a whole huge story behind that car too. I don't know if I want to get into all in this video, but on how I found the parts and all that kind of stuff too. But yeah, so I guess we'll keep moving.
And then kind of explain too. We'll come back to the engine bay or the engine because you want to swap this, right?
Yes.
What do you want to swap it with? I guess we'll talk about it now. Huh?
We can talk about it. I mean, I don't know if I want to disclose what I want to swap it with.
Okay.
So
secrets.
Yeah, just because you know it's over the years I've had high ambitions with a lot of things, you know.
Yeah.
And some people aren't believers, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I just kind of working quiet.
I mean, this is going to go out to millions of people. I'm just kidding. It's probably going to go out to 10 people. They're going to, and you're probably number 1.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to watch it. The other 9 people are probably friends of mine. So.
Oh, so that's cool.
And then what's up with the wonky fitment in the back?
Oh, yeah. So, again, I just kind of jumped when I saw the wheels for sale. I knew I wanted to fit something pretty wide, and I love the look of these specs. I didn't know how wide I wanted to go. And ideally, I'd like to do either some custom wide body work, or I did just buy the Monster Service V1 set. It's like plus 60 millimeter. Which
is going to look great, and you want to mold that to this, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to put it on and see how I like it first.
Yeah.
And then if I like it, I'm going to mold it to the car and, you know, try to make it look as smooth as possible.
Yeah.
I don't want to, you know, have the bolted look or, you know, break the body lines too much. So,
and I think the kit, if you, wide body this and then just smooth it in, and it's gonna look so good, dude. It'll flow well.
So yeah, absolutely.
And then why is this all torn apart?
It's the theme of my car. All right. Yeah. So this here again, going back to that RM460 build. That car was mid-engine, so it was a hatchback is what they did to it. And so I ended up finding that car. It was being parted out. The whole car ended up getting scrapped at some point, but I ended up buying the whole hatchback section off of it. And I've got some pieces over there I can send some bits.
So this is all cut out?
Yeah, so I just took the rear glass out for now. And then the only cutting I did was on the rear deck lid here to kind of open that up. So eventually this whole support bar is going to be cut out as well. And then the whole thing will have a hatch that opens rather than just the trunk.
And then you got the rear end of this car.
Yes. Sorry, it's disaster.
Oh, you're good.
So yeah.
So these taillights are pretty sweet. Can you turn them on by chance?
No. Batteries does, but
so they're cool because they light up, right? Like different colors.
Yeah. So these are the OEM BK2 taillights. Actually off of your car originally when I did swapped around some taillights. So these ones here, I shipped them off to the guy named Marine Customs, and he did the RGB build on it. So it's got, I think Ghosts or something is I forget the company that does it, but
that's fine.
Yeah, but it's RGB tails, and it just all the whole center section here can be any color. You got all sorts of different patterns or whatever. I'm not a huge fan of all the different crazy colors, at least for this type of build. I just run it purple. That's all I kind of want it for, which is kind of, you know, extreme to do all that work just to make it purple, but it's...
And we can also put up a picture of the car, like a render that you had before you kind of started all of this, and so that people can have an idea of the direction you're going with it, which is cool.
So,
and then you have the pretty exhaust. I like the cut. You can come back here.
Cool.
So I like the cut. So what's this setup?
Okay, so this is an arc grip catback for the 3.8. So it's got the dual mufflers and then the dual resonators in the back. This one, again, being funny rare parts, this is actually their prototype kit. I used to have their Techno tips with the smaller tip size. I wasn't a big fan of it because it was supposed to be like blue and purple, but it kind of came up pink and green, and it was just kind of a weird look. So I ended up talking to them, and I found that I could get these off them. Yeah, they're the prototypes for the larger tip size. So when they increase the diameter, these are the first set of those. So.
I like how big they are. And then you have a third brake light or a rain light.
Yeah, so it's just tied on right now. But
it looks cool.
Yeah, I think this is actually for a BMW. You can get it with the diffuser. But I just found just the rain light, and it's approved for racing and all that stuff too.
That's sick.
And then I did 𝐓𝐬𝐭𝐚𝐠, I think is the company that does the rear dash bar jack point. Okay.
And then we can't really see it right now. We'll post pictures, but can you talk about the underneath of it?
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, I've got a few.
There's quite a bit.
So I'll start with what the suspension setup is. So the car is on Part Shot Max coilovers, the Pro coils, all around, all four corners. So it switches the rear from a separate spring and shock to a true coilover setup. And then it's got the rear alignment kit, so all the arms for the rear, and then it's got their front angle kit, so it's got all the arms for the front. So everything suspension-wise, all done. I redid the suspension at a later point. I did Platinum VIP air cups on it. So I'm on coils, but you can also air up and air out still. You drive the car typically at the aired out height, as opposed to bags where that is your mainspring. This is just in addition to the mainspring, and it gives you an extra height benefit.
And it's nice too, because if your bags pop, you're not completely screwed. Because I popped bags on the BK2
Sure.
going over railroad tracks.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it rubbed against the bag and popped them.
Dang.
And I was like stranded. It sucked.
Yeah. So yeah, luckily, I mean, it's all, so you still got a metal mainspring. So I actually did redo the springs too, because if you run a regular mainspring, you have to sag the rear spring. Otherwise, when you air up the car, you preload the spring like crazy, and you get a really bouncy, stiff ride. So what I ended up doing was I threw on some Swift short springs on it. Sorry. And then I threw on some helper springs to it too.
And I rode in this car with you when I think you had all that done, right?
At least that part. I don't think we had the arms in.
And it feels great. It's a little stiff, but it's not bad at all.
Yeah, that's good. I'm happy to hear that. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting setup, and I'll see if we can get a video of it when we're working. But yeah, it's probably one of my other favorite parts of the car is the air cups. It's not something you see very often. So
yeah, which is cool on this car.
Yeah.
Again, you don't see it very often at all.
Yeah. Let's see, anything else with that? So the rear subframe, because I got a bunch of other stuff underneath. Most of the work's underneath the car, actually.
Yeah. And we'll, again, post pictures of it.
Yeah. So the rear subframe is actually out of a Genesis sedan. The 4.6 Gen sedan came with a V8, and those had a stronger rear subframe with a fourth diff mount already in the car. Kind of weird thing about these cars, they only come with 3 diff mounts. It's got a hole for the fourth, but there's no mount there, and you kind of there's kits people sell, you can drill it out and add a fourth. But I was like, why not just go with the sedan subframe? It's a more rigid subframe, especially if I want to do drifting with it and other stuff.
Makes sense.
Put more power down. Might as well upgrade it and just swap it, and then. So I also did Part Shot Max rear subframe risers when I did that. And what that does is helps fix your suspension geometry. When you lower a car, all your arms start to angle upwards, and that affects how the car is supposed to handle. So I still wanted to go low, but I wanted to still have performance. So and more or less proper handling. So it kind of corrects some of that geometry to some extent. Let's see. In the rear, I did the dual calipers as well. Forgot about that. So I think FDF makes the kit for that. So it adds the second caliper over here on this side. And then, yeah, EBC brakes, same thing. And braided lines, same kind of deal. Differential-wise, I went with custom.
Quite a bit. You've got quite a bit going on. You just can't see it.
Yeah, it's all under there. We'll show a picture or whatever. But it's got a Cusco two-way. It's a switchable diff, but I have it set up to be a two-way for drifting. Differential, and then it's got the 4.1 ratio gear. So the Gen came with a couple different ratios, and I think one of the BK2 options, I think it might be the BK2 Auto, came with a 4.1, which is a little bit more aggressive of a ratio for the diff. So I threw that in with the LSD. Normally, this car comes with just the Torsen.
And so this car is supposed to be like a drift street car kind of build, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I want it to be kind of high horsepower, kind of VIP style, but
How much horsepower do you want to make?
I mean, we'll see. Goal would be at least 800. So it's got the 1,000 horsepower rated axles in it. So
That's pretty sweet.
Thank you. We'll kind of take it from there. I'm sure that's far more than this car needs, but I figured, why not, kind of go crazy.
Yeah.
With this one.
And I've told you this before. I feel like you're more of a kind of a hot rod type of builder, right? Like this isn't just, oh God.
Oh yeah, that's not bolted on.
This isn't just like, my bad.
Oh,
You're getting lazy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Blooper reel.
all right. But you're really like a hot rod type of builder. You are doing a lot of custom stuff, which is really cool. And hot rod doesn't mean old classic, muscle cars and stuff, but it means, like a custom builder. It's not normal, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
And especially with KDM or JDM cars, you don't really see as much, maybe higher end builds, but nothing like this.
Yeah, well, appreciate that.
And you do have a ton of parts. So we're not going to go over all of that because that would probably take hours.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have so much knowledge about these cars. So can people hit you up if they have questions about this stuff?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, what's your Instagram?
My Instagram is just genesis.coupe. So
And that's
you can find it.
okay.
But yeah, and you'll find the BK2 on there. You'll find the BK1, whatever other projects I'm working on.
And you do resell some of this stuff, and
I do sell some parts here and there, especially if I pulled it off the car. Or,
Yeah.
I don't sell stuff like crazy, but
yeah, because you don't sell stuff that's crap. You actually sell nice products. Like, I'm not saying you're a store or anything, but it's not like this is trash.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate that.
Is there anything else on here?
I guess suspension wise, I forgot to mention. I went with Acura's CVT 5-gallon tank in the rear. The reason I love this CVT is because they put the air compressor, the compressor inside the air tank. So when it vibrates, you don't get all that noise. So it's nice and quiet when it kicks in. Acura did go under right when I was buying this.
They're back.
And they're back.
Yeah.
I've heard there are definitely plenty of problems with this. I've been fine so far. But I've heard
Knock on wood.
problems. Yeah, but I figured, I'll figure it out and keep it running. So,
Knock on race car.
Yeah, knock on race car. So that's that. Interior wise is all taken apart for now, so there's not really much to see. I was pulling some of the airbags out, changing the steering wheel. I've got here. I got a Sparco wheel that's going with the quick release, and then. I have the headliner out because I'm doing the whole hatchback conversion right now. So that's why the rear glass is all out, all that stuff. So this is probably the worst the car has ever looked in a lot of ways. Yeah, absolutely.
Sweet. Well, I appreciate you showing us the car and letting me do this. It's our first time doing this type of thing together, which is crazy, but
It's an honor.
I'll have your info down in the description so that way people can find your Instagram and whatnot. So
I appreciate it.
but I think we're good to go. And if you guys again have any questions about Genesis Coupes or anything like that, just hit him up and I'm sure he'll reply pretty quick. So
I'll do my best to answer questions, but I don't know everything. I'm still very, very far away from everything on this car.
Definitely. Well, appreciate it if you can like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.